Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another week. It's a blank canvas. Yes, that means the ability to paint more football pictures. As one of Kev's ex-teams slides and is slippery in the Premier League table, the other one is rising to the occasion. We have a couple of special guests and a last-minute sub coming on. It's Monday Madness. Let's roll!
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Happy Monday, everybody. Oh, what a great weekend it has been. Welcome to the Highbury Squad, another fresh week of content. And joining me once again is my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev and Campbell.
Squaddies, welcome. Monday Madness is here, and at ease. Take it easy.
It's Monday Madness with a little bit of a twist. Kev, our listeners enjoyed the premiere of Get Off the Potsy this weekend. A fantastic reaction to Dan's show. Well done, Dan. The
Very
premiere.
good, yes. Yep.
Very good stuff. I look forward to you doing episode 2 with your very special guest in a few weeks. So that went down a treat. Welcome, Dan Potts. A last-minute sub, Kev, coming in on Monday Madness.
I'll take it. It's Monday Madness, and when I got invited on, of course, I said yes. I've been busy tonight, to be honest with yourself, and I've only just got in, 10 minutes ago. When you text me, I thought, you know what, let's jump on, because I missed Lee Judge's TV tonight with the boys, because I was out and about with prior commitments. But he still ain't here. He can't be on time for Lee Judge's TV, and I still beat him to this show. It's unbelievable, this guy. But no, it's always a pleasure to be on this podcast. I love this channel, and I love you too, so I'm looking forward to it. What a weekend as well. Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic weekend. We're all going to get to it. Lee's actually coming on, you guys. Lee with hair. What? Wait, hold on a second. You want to see Lee with hair? Sure, fine. Why not? Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Gianni Judges, that's Gianni.
Gianni Judge is looking fresh. Hi, everyone. It's been a fantastic weekend. Kev, I'm sorry about your toffees. They feel like they're Arsenal right now, like a few months ago.
Isn't it funny how you see teams who have had a really good start, yeah, and then all of a sudden they hit the skids and the roller coaster starts going. I mean, look at some of the results this weekend. It's been crazy. And you can't put your finger on it because you're talking about experienced manager who got them playing previously, and now, you know, that first half was so poor.
It was bad.
From Everton. So poor.
Don't rule them out, man. They're going to be back. They've got a quality manager, and they've got players out. When they come back, I think Everton will push up the table.
No, Dan, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is the roller coaster of it. The appearance, you know, they done so well at Manchester United with all those players out, didn't they? You know, they played a great game. Doucouré's missing. Obviously, Richarlison's back. They just couldn't get it going in the first half today.
I mean, is Calvert-Lewin that much of a loss, Kev? Because they seem to have...
I never mentioned him, so I never mentioned him at all. And it's no point mentioning him because at the end of the day, listen, he's your main striker. He's an England international. So you're going to miss him. But everybody misses players. You know, when your top players are missing, everyone misses them at times. So it's just part and parcel of the game, Soph.
Yeah, but Mark, remember, it's not Rafa, it's the players. Right, Kev?
Always the players. Because look at the way Everton played in the second half to the way they played in the first half. That's not down to the manager. That's the players on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. It is. Anyway, big up to everyone. Gianni Judges is probably just looking for his sunglasses right now and will be joining us. I mean, would I have preferred it that he was here on time? Of course. But how about we start already? Look at, and Dan saving the day here, Kev. I mean, just saying, representing.
Well, listen, again, at the end of the day, Dan likes coming on here. right? He likes coming on here. Gianni, I don't know if he could be bothered. You know what I mean? I don't know if he could be bothered because he's not even here. Where is he?
We got a legend here on time. Where is Gianni Judges? That is the question. It's like,
Dan, you're the
Waldo?
legend, by the way, Dan. You know that.
Man, I'm no legend, mate. Trust
You're a
me.
legend, mate.
Anik, do you honestly think that me and Dan would gang up on Super Kev? Never going to happen.
I'm used to it anyway, so I don't worry. Listen, the squaddies have ganged up on me previous, called me Arteta's lawyer and all that. And I must
You're
say...
the deluded one, aren't you, Kev? You're the deluded one.
And I'm deluded as well. Don't forget that as well,
Kev.
Dan. I'm deluded, Kev. But you know what, Dan? I must admit, I made a guest appearance today on Curtis Shaw TV.
Oh,
I love Curtis.
And I tell you what, you know that I've got about 8 humble pies in this big oven going, right?
It's me, Curtis, Dan.
There's so many, right? And I think Curtis had a little slice earlier. He had a little slice earlier.
It's too early to be serving the humble pie, Kev. And I will bring it up.
No, and it was over Ramsdale. The humble
that's
pie,
fine because
the
he
humble
was
pie was over
yes.
Ramsdale.
Okay,
Yes.
then we are in agreement on that because he was vicious when it came to Ramsdale. Also, let's just balance things out, shall we, to make it fair to, Gianni Judges here. You know that Kev loves to wear a wig. We've seen it before. I mean, he's rocking it. He still looks cool. And look, Dan's not going to get away with this. I've got all the tools in my toolbox, you guys.
Love it. The boys. Some night out, that was.
I tell you. It's
right,
gone.
well,
It's
look.
the supporting this club. That's what happens. Look, it goes. It's not that long anymore.
All right, well, look, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Here's Monday Madness, top 5 talking points. And the first one, give me a minute to kind of articulate what I want to talk about with you guys. So I was thinking, my cousin sent me this question on WhatsApp. He goes, he's like, Soph, have we been impatient? And Kev's laughing already. It's not over yet, Kev. All right. Thank God Dan's here. Oh, Jesus. And I was saying to him, well, okay, is impatience the right word, or is it an expectancy because of being the Arsenal Football Club? And whether or not that's still warranted. And are we overreacting now? Because, hear me out, we've played 2 great games and a phenomenal half versus our bitter rivals, right? Ramsdale's also played out of his mind. It's been the most enigmatic signing so far this season. I don't like to bring the future Newcastle United manager Unai Emery up tonight, but I'm going to. If Unai went on a 22 unbeaten game run and some fans and pundits poo-pooed it, saying we won ugly, we got lucky in some of those matches. But now Arteta's on his run. Everyone's saying, wow, this is amazing. Some people are saying it's amazing. But are we even close yet? We can't finish 8th again. We have to get back into Europe. There's still far to go. Folks were raving about Villa, Everton, Tottenham and Leicester at the beginning of the season. Of course, we were rock bottom. Kev, I'm going to start with you. What do you think of where we're at? And, hey, he's here.
Oh my goodness! Look at this. He's turned up.
What's going on here?
Straight
Potsy
out.
can't get on our show, but then I'll see you here. What's going on? Like?
Here we go.
Yellow card.
I couldn't work it out if it was a Q or a G, like, you know what I mean? So, all right, so go and get the
For
guy.
God.
Sorry about it.
Listen to this waffle. Have you heard this waffle?
Kev, I did not need any explanation. The player came right on straight away. A yellow
Straight
card.
yellow.
A yellow
Are we-
card.
are
It
we
is a
No,
yellow.
in
even
agreement?
getting away from it. Yellow card straight away.
He's a fowler. He's a
It's-
fowler, that one.
I'll tell you what, I get a message and Soph's like, what are you up to? Fans jumping on. I said, that'll be fair, I've only just come in. Oh, Lee Judges is on, that'll be all right. He'll only be 20 minutes late.
What a disgrace.
Lead judges in the book, and there is no VAR decision on this whatsoever.
Well, at least I got on it. There was a certain person last week that couldn't get on, like, you know what I mean? So,
quickest yellow card ever.
yeah,
There you
go.
go.
I'll take that.
I love it. You take that.
I'll pay the fine.
A two-footer for sure. That is the fastest yellow card in Highbury squad history. There is no doubt.
Thank you very
about
much.
that.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm not trying to move the goalposts, boys and girls. So, Lee, what I was saying to the boys, I don't know if you heard it in the green room.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kev, why don't you answer my question? It's the first talking point because I find it fascinating.
Well, again, talking about the past is the past, right? It's a different time. It's a different football club right now. There's been a lot of water under that bridge. 22-game unbeaten run is still a good run. Let's have it right, and we needed it at the time. But the one thing it didn't do, Sophie, it didn't get us where we needed to get to. That really was the problem come the end of the season, because we had an opportunity to really qualify for the Champions League, and we duffed it in. We messed it up. So, again, from where we were after the first 3 games to where we are now, and yeah, we haven't played well in all those games, but do you know what's more important, as I keep saying? Getting a result. Getting a result makes the point, coming back and getting the point against Crystal Palace, look good after you see them go to the Etihad and do Manchester City. You know, they're up and coming. They're a decent side who have a goal. And if you're not on your game on your day, they can turn you over. They nearly turned us over. They've gone to the champions and turned them over. You know, it's not easy.
Have you actually answered my question though?
Politician, isn't he? Hey, politician Campbell. If you're out knocking on doors in a minute,
hold on a minute. There was about 8 questions in one. So
it was. I said, give me a moment to articulate what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but there was 8 questions in one. You were asking about the 22-match unbeaten run and how that correlates to now. I haven't got long to answer these questions. So just answer me straight. What do you want me to answer? Because if I can't answer it in my own way, you just ask me the question and I'll answer it.
Well, Gianni Judges is the one that went at you. Don't have a go at me.
No, no, but you're saying, have I actually answered your question?
Okay,
but there's about 8 different questions. Okay, so ask me what you want me to answer.
Are we, even though we may have been impatient, are we now overexcited? Because when you look at the run of...
Simple. No, we're not overexcited. We're happier with the team, 100%. We're happier with performances, and we're happier that when the hurdles come up, we are getting over the hurdles. But we know we're not where we want to be. We know that. We know that.
Yeah. Dan, why don't I go over to you so we let a little downtime for Gianni Judges take a breather.
Have you seen him smoking his pipe down there?
I'm going to mute my TV. I've still got the game NBC on. Hold on one
What,
second.
what,
Dan,
what has he got in that pipe? Are you all right down there? Have you got some of that funky stuff in there?
What's in your gavel there?
What's in that? It looks like a pipe, mate.
Put behind the soda, man. All right.
Dan, what do you think? Look, I know we're 3 points behind Man City. Are we equal on points with Man United now, or are we a point behind them?
Equal. Above us on goal average.
Equal. They're above us on goal difference, aren't they?
Okay. And our rivals, we'll talk about that later, are 2 points behind us now. So, Dan, I mentioned the 22 unbeaten game run because people vilified Emery for that a little bit. And so what I'm saying is can you get excited about the run we're on now? I'm not having a dig at Arteta or the players. I'm asking a genuine question.
So you can never get excited with this Arsenal side, that's for sure. But certainly in the last couple of games, what we've seen is a style of play, which is something I've been crying out for ages. I'm finally seeing these players not just give their all, but work in a new system, work in a new formation, have a style of play. I've seen high press for more than just 10 minutes. I've seen more than just glimpses of attacking football. I've seen scoring goals, which is something we haven't seen for a long, long time. But we certainly need some consistency, Soph. And it swings and roundabouts at the start to this season, because we lost to Man City and Chelsea. Now, I didn't expect to see us beat Man City or Chelsea. But now, because we're looking in hindsight, we're looking now at Brentford, Brighton and Palace, and everybody's saying they were good results that we got against them. It was okay to lose to Brentford because Brentford did really, really well against Liverpool and Chelsea. And it's okay because Brighton drew to Liverpool and Palace beat Man City, so it's okay. So now I'm hearing that kind of thing. So I think people look at football differently when they look back in time. I'm agreeing with Kev. I think that when you look at where we are now, which is really always where we should be looking at, I look at where we are now, not where we were 6 games ago, not where we're going to be in 12 games, or not where we were in 2004. I look at where we are now, and I can only be real about that. And what I see is a little bit of improvement, not just with some of the players, but actually tactically as well. And I'm agreeing with what Lee said the other day on our podcast about how Mikel Arteta has learnt from a couple of mistakes in the last few games about going 1-0 up against Palace and then trying to sit back and dominate play and get dominated. Against Villa, we went for it. Against Leicester, we went for it. And sometimes it has to pay off because the ball has to hit the back of the net. But it did in 2 occasions against Aston Villa and against Leicester, which then allowed us to, in the Villa game, go and get another one, and for Leicester, hold out to a comfortable win. Now, if it wasn't for Ramsdale making some unbelievable saves, of course the game could have been different. But actually, when you look at the performance in both those games, I saw a new formation, and where I am now, and to answer your question, Soph, is I want to see consistent wins. Because apparently going 22 games unbeaten is questioned by Unai Emery doing it because we only drew a few. So we've only drawn a few this time against Brighton and Palace already, and we haven't gone anywhere near 22 games unbeaten yet. So the way I see it is consistent wins. We're not going to get consistent wins in the next few games, in my opinion, because the games against Everton away, albeit they lost tonight, I think will be difficult. Liverpool away is going to be very, very hard, as is Manchester United, because we all know they've got players in all 3 of those teams, that can hurt us. So we may not get consistent wins, but let's see consistent performances if we can't get consistent wins, because the performance has been what's really been key for me against Leicester and against Aston Villa, because something we've seen a little bit of everything, haven't we, Soph, in the last few games of Arsenal at the start. We've seen us get battered and bullied by Brentford and Chelsea. We've seen us get spanked by Manchester City. We've seen us not been able to score goals. Now we're starting to score goals. So I think where I am at currently, and I'm not going to keep going Arteta out. I'm actually bored of myself saying that now. What I've understood is he's not going to get sacked. He's certainly not at the moment where we're winning like this. So we've got a young manager, but we've also got a young team. And what we're going to get with a young manager and a young team is the perfect storm, which means we're going to get a lot of inconsistency this season. And that's what we've had in the first 9-10 games. Very inconsistent performances and a little bit of everything. Conceding goals, not scoring goals. Now we're scoring goals. We've been bullied. We've been battered. We've stood up against Burnley and Brighton and bullied them in parts of the game. We've done a little bit of everything, which means that we're still learning and we're still developing. Now, I never wanted this manager, and I still stand by. If Conte came to Arsenal, I'd have him over Arteta tomorrow. I would. But we're not going to have that. We have to be real. I can only talk about what's in front of me, Soph. And I look at the situation with Mikel Arteta and a young side, and I know that it's going to be very, very inconsistent this season.
Very well put, Dan, and fair comments, in my opinion. Lee, what's your take on this subject?
Well, as I've always said, it comes down to results and winning games of football. And if Mikel does that, then that's no problem. And I'm going to say this now. You know, I'm a critic of Mikel, because I look back not just at this season, the season before, and the defeats and everything like that. He's very, very fortunate to be in his job, but he's very fortunate. But that performance on Saturday, the first half's performance, is as good as you're going to get away from home from any team. I thought it was absolutely outstanding. Very, very proud to be an Arsenal fan watching that, because it was sublime. You know, totally in control, totally dominated the side that everybody was saying, oh, this is the team, this is the informed team and everything like that. Oh, we're up against Vardy, we're up against Iheanacho. Xhaka scoring goals left, right, and centre. Clean sheets. End of. Yes, the one thing that worries me, and I will say this, is that despite some fantastic save, I do feel that he was a little bit too busier, Ramsdale, than what I would like. I think that we've got to work on that. But there's always room for improvement. And I'm going to say this about Mikel Arteta. I like what he said after the game. We haven't done anything yet. This is, we've had a couple of wins. There's lots more to come. So I think that he's keeping everybody's feet on the ground firmly. And for me, you have to look at it and say, forget about those 3 games before. I know that you shouldn't, but that wasn't his team. He's got his players in now. 8 games unbeaten, 6 in the league, 3 points off of Man City. Can you really say any more than that? No, the worrying thing for me is it's a couple of games. We haven't had a couple of bad performances. We haven't got no one now to come back who was available. Conte was available. And obviously, like Spurs have gone and got him there. And that, listen, Spurs were all down in the dumps yesterday. Now they're all cock-a-root again because they've got a top-class manager, and they have. We've got.
We know what they do to top-class managers over there, mate. Don't worry about that.
No, at the end of the day, let's hope his legacy goes up the Swanee as well. At the moment, we've still got a potentially very, very good team. I do think that. I think we've got some bloody good players. I really do. I think that you look at our defence now. Gabriel and Ben White looks a really, really good, solid defence. Ramsdale was, I don't care what anybody is, he's exceeded expectations. I know it's only a few games, but no one would have been putting him in this position that he's in at the moment. Tavares has come in and been sensational in the last couple of games, and really putting pressure on Tierney, who was guaranteed playing every game. Listen, let's be honest about it. Forget about the managerial thing. Last season when Tierney was injured, we were counting down the days, the minutes when he was coming back. Now I have another week's rest, because Tavares has come in and been outstanding. So I think we've got potential. There's a lot of potential. I know there's a lot of ifs and buts with that, but if they carry on playing the way that they have in the last 2 games, what was important for me in that game, Soph, was that they backed up the Aston Villa game with another top-class performance. When we played really well against Spurs, we didn't back that up. But we backed that up on Saturday. And we're now in a position, if we'd have lost that game, I think we'd have been 11th.
It's
It's a
definitely
fine
right
line.
there. So
Let
me riff off something Lee said here, which goes into my second talking point for Monday Madness, and I'll swing back to you, Kev. Last season, we didn't have good cover for Tierney. This season, we're lucky. You could argue that. Well, let me just ask the question:
How are we lucky?
How many injuries? What do you mean? I'm saying that we're lucky that we have Nuno to come in for
we bought
Tierney.
him. But we bought him. Remember, this was the problem from last season. We didn't have cover.
But we're lucky he's working out so quickly. I mean, it's quite kind of incredible that he's come in and he's doing a job.
He's done a fantastic job.
Okay, so let me finish the question, and then you can have a go at me. How many injuries are we away from a bit of a Premier League disaster run? Because I was looking at this and I genuinely wanted to make this a talking point because I say to myself...
A disaster run?
Well, yeah, because you don't want Chambers and Holding and Kolasinac coming in at any point, do you? El Neni, I would say no either. Xhaka's injured for now. I think if you look at our bench and we talk about Nuno, you've got Martinelli who can come in up front, of course, and play on the left. So the question is how deep is our squad? This is such a great run. We want to protect everybody. We don't have European football. But if we were to lose a couple of players, and we're going to lose some for the African Cup of Nations,
if it's on,
how do you feel about the depth to keep this going? God forbid there's no injuries.
I think mostly the midfield is a real big problem for us. Centre mid, real problem for us. We've said it from pre-season, Sophie, and I'll keep saying it now. Obviously, Granit Xhaka's injured. We don't know what he's going to be like when he fully recovers. We don't know how long it's going to take, whether there's going to be any complications. If Thomas Partey gets injured, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Lokonga, has played very well the last 2 games. He's done a lot of dirty work that a lot of people haven't really given him credit for. He's been very good, but he's a lot better than El Neni. El Neni plays sideways. Lokonga plays forward. That's what we need. That's what's getting us up the pitch. Problem we've got is we know there's cover at certain spots, but that engine room for me is the real problem. We can
more so than Gabriel, guys. Like because one of my other points. So let's just mesh it all up, because one of my points is has Gabriel become our most important player? Last season it was Saka, a blend of him and Smith Rowe. Isn't it just as important that Gabriel stays fit as much as Partey?
I think he's been our best player. Gabriel, for me, has been our best player this season.
We want them all to be fit, don't we, Dan? We want them all to be fit.
Of course we do, yeah. And I think without Europe, we've got more chance of no long-term injuries, but you can always get an injury in any game. Yeah. But you've got more chance when you play less games. For me, we're 3 injuries away for me in terms of importance. Tomiyasu, Gabriel and Partey. They're the 3 for me, because I don't want Cedrics and Holdings and El Nenis coming back into this side, and they're going to, if them 3 get injured. I'm with Kev. Love what Lokonga's doing. I really do. I don't think we miss Granit Xhaka. I love the athleticism. I love the forward passing. I don't want sideways and backwards with Xhaka and El Neni. Said enough of that for 5 years, and it's got us nowhere. So I want to see us move forward with Thomas Partey and Lokonga. I want Gabriel and Ben White to stay fit, because I'm liking what I'm seeing with the partnership. Tomiyasu and Tavares or Tierney, we've got proper fullbacks at the club now for once. So, Edu said, let's look at this team. I saw it for a couple of games, and I thought nothing's changed. Actually, the last 2, I've started to see some really good performances as a team, and they're starting to play together. There's some players that I still feel need to do a little bit more. Some of them aren't in this team at the moment. I'd love to see Martinelli and Pepe do a lot better when they're given a chance in some of the games like the other night against Leeds, and prove why they deserve to be in this side. But actually, when we look at what's happening in partnerships within this side now, I think we're right with where we're going with this formation. And some can say it's a 4-4-2, some can say it's a 4-2-3-1 that goes into a 4-4-2. I don't care what it is. It's working. Lacazette and Aubameyang's a partnership. Partey and Lokonga's a partnership. Gabriel and Ben White's a partnership. And what it allows to do is the players that are actually playing together, which people don't mention, on the right and left, with Tavares and, of course, Smith Rowe and Saka and Tomiyasu, they're forming partnerships, believe it or not, on the right and left. So I'm starting to see this side come together with a little bit of team spirit and a little bit of telepathy, and I'm starting to see a style of play, and that's what I've been crying out for what's been almost 20 months, Soph, and now I've started to see it in the last couple of games. That doesn't mean it's working now, doesn't mean it's done. We've got to keep this going, but I'm liking what I'm seeing in the last couple of games.
All right. I'm going to go to the next talking point, and we'll start with Lee, because there's been a huge transition in this team. And by the way, Super Kev, we have 420 in live chat right now. I think it's time that you laid out.
Come on, guys. Listen, hit that like button.
Where's Vinny?
On the way in, do a Vinny, hit it, smash it, nut it, or just touch it like he is.
There he is.
Hit it. Go on, hit it. On the way in or on the way out. If you ate that lot down the road. Yeah, that's it. You ate that lot down the road, hit it.
Oh, God, do we hate them? Jeez, they're getting so cocky. Our regular Spurs fan's in the house tonight too. He's got a little bit more bravado tonight than he did on after the game at the weekend. My Gianni judges, I will start with you. There's been a lot of conversation on our show about the impact of the senior players. And Kev has been a young player coming through at the Arsenal, and he's talked about how when he came into the team, he had men, leaders of young men to look up to show him the way. I think we'd all agree that maybe we've moved on from the immature men that we had in our team, from Ozil to Mustafi, to some of the players that are no longer here in January, and also players that have been moved on loan. But there's a lot of people talking about how our senior players are stepping up. But Lee, do you think it's more of a case of our younger players being so mature that they've had an effect on the senior players, and it's kind of been the reverse at the Arsenal?
Oh, it's a good point. I'm going to say it now. Do you know what I think that's been the big game changer for us? Aaron Ramsdale. I think his attitude and everything that he's done, on and off the field, has sort of like got everybody going. I think players have fed off of it. You know what I mean? Like, because, you look at that and I think it's a great example. If you was a player, I don't know how Kevin would feel if you're sitting in the dressing room. It took a lot of stick before he even had a kick at this club. You know what I mean?
Before he even signed.
And he won. He has won over the fans within a month or 2 months now to unbelievable proportions. So I look at that and I think, if I was a player like that, I would think, well, I'd like to be like that, loved by the fans like that. How can I do that? You know what I mean? And I think that they've sort of gone on that. I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've seen this, but on Ben White's Instagram, they're all singing like on the coach, Saka and Emil Smith Rowe.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I find that absolutely fantastic, because what that tells you is the players are relating to what the fans are saying on there and the other way around. All of a sudden now, we've got it going both ways.
A connection.
A connection. I don't think that we've had that for a very, very long while. Now, I'll go back to a few years ago when I was up at Man United and 2 or 3 players just come up and the rest walked off. And then I see other teams with all their players clapping. I got jealous of that. And I wanted, we used to have it back in the day with Kevin's era and all that, you know what I mean? When it was a little bit different, they'd score a goal and pile on, especially at Highbury, they'd pile into the North Bank and things like that. But you had that little bit more of a connection. All of a sudden, it's gone there. And I think that that's a little bit to do with Mikel, because he comes over now and does his thing. But I think that the players that they've brought in are infectious to it, and it's brought a bit about that. And I do think that it's there. There isn't really... If I was a player in that team, there's not a real player I could say that I would look up to and think, oh, I want to be like him and whatever. But what I'm saying is that Aaron Ramsdale, just for me, has come with that. What can I say? A minus to his name when he first came to the club. Well, that minus has completely gone now, and everybody is on. Look at what he done with it. Like the thing when the Leicester fans are giving it, and he give that. Hey, come on, who don't like that? You know what I mean? It's absolutely brilliant, and I think it's been really down to him. He's been infectious, and I think inject a little bit more of that, you know what I mean? So that's how I feel.
Kev, like I said, we've long talked about having spirit and moments like this, and it's been so long since I think we've felt that we've had a likeable Arsenal team. And Lee brought up the reason why I wanted to ask the question, because it was the video that Ben White posted where they were singing about ESR and Saka. And I do think that the impact they've had, and then the other younger players who have come in, even Nuno, Sambi, Rambo 2.0, what do you think about them having more of an effect on the senior players, and it's shifted the senior players' mentality versus the other way around?
I think winning makes the difference. Mm-hmm. It really does. The senior players, when they've had the opportunity now, more's been asked of them. I've not seen Aubameyang work so hard ever at Arsenal. Game after game after game. And, if it weren't for a poor referee, Leicester are down to 10 men. Johnny Evans gets sent off. Aubameyang spins him and he pulls him down. So the senior players are doing their thing. But I think there's a gelling of this team now. Lee mentions about a connection with the fans. I think there's a connection within the team and squad now. I think what was important last week in the Leeds game, when we saw Chambers come on and score, when he ran over to the sideline, everybody was getting up. There was Lacazette there. There was obviously Rambo was there, and the whole team and squad came together. That's what we want as fans. We want to see that togetherness, because you know what? Remember when the chips were down and everybody was coming for us? We are all we've got. Nobody else is going to say about, no, you know, Arsenal all right. No, they're going to come and try and take us out. So I just think these younger players have come into the Arsenal. It takes a bit of time. And a lot of the time, they are not used to being under that pressure of the badge. Fact of the matter is, they've come in and they're having a go at it. You start winning and you build momentum. You build togetherness. And we're seeing them develop in front of our eyes, which is good.
Yeah, it's
Real
been a
good.
long time coming. And Dan, you and Lee have been to the away games, the home games. And I wanted to tie this in too, because as well as the team bouncing back in a sense that new players, new energy, DNA and culture, Arteta deserves credit for switching things up. Although I did say to Kev, and I'm not trying to be difficult, you guys, forced to make changes in midfield because of Xhaka injury and forced to bring in Nuno because of Tierney's injury. Now Tierney's finding it hard to come back, even though he might still be carrying a knock. The fans have played a massive, massive role so far this season. A lot of people were thinking when the season started, things would be really toxic. Obviously, we had the protests, which I think was the first time that brought fans together in a humbling and in a way. And our good friend Ruth Beckhart captured it brilliantly. You guys were there that day outside the stadium. And it seems since then, even though we may have disagreed on things, the Emirates is buzzing. The away fans are absolutely dominating. And fans around the world are sucking it up and loving it. Talk to me about that part and the impact you think, even the Leicester game. I was watching it here and all I heard was you guys singing your hearts out.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of going to every single game this season, Sophie, home and away, except for Burnley away. And every single game, home and away, the fans have been exceptional. Even, you know, the Man City game, the Chelsea game where we'd lost Brentford, the fans were sensational. And, you know, we've been guilty in the past, perhaps, of being quite silent at the Emirates in particular. But I haven't seen that at all this season. Now, whether the pandemic's had something to do with that and people have missed so much going to games that they're just really into it this season, I'm not sure. But what I'm seeing is the fans getting behind it. So that's why I really hate it when fans say to me and others that have questioned this ownership board and management is, get behind the team. Just get behind the team and the player. What do you think the hell we've been doing? I've been doing that for 16 years. So I look at this season now, no one can say that these fans aren't getting behind this team and this manager. Nobody can say that. Like, prove it to me, because every single fan is on their feet enjoying what they're watching or getting behind it. And when we're losing or we're not playing so well, it's not because the fans are silent and they're fed up and they're leaving at 10, 15 minutes to go. They're staying. They're congratulating. They're trying to get behind it. They're trying to cheer the team and the management on. So the fans deserve a lot of credit, and they are getting that over the last few games, and they deserve all the plaudits they're getting. Because the way that I see it is the fans, I think, and I don't want to go on to a different thing here, but I'll touch on it quick. I think the fans have been treated a little bit like crap in certain games. And the people that are treating them like crap are the TV money. Because we've got to go to Liverpool and Manchester United and we can't get home. So that means we've got to spend money on tickets and hotels now if we want to go to those games. So it's great not having Europe. How many Saturday 3 o'clock games have we had? 2. Norwich and Burnley. Everything else has been on a Monday or a Friday because it's Arsenal. They're big. Get them on the TV. Fuck the fans. They'll go to the games. They'll spend the money. They have to. So we could be really grumpy about that and really annoyed about it, because I've had a bit of enough about it, if I'm honest with you. But the fans are still going. The fans are still giving 100%, and they're getting behind the team and the manager. So no one can say that we ain't doing that now, Soph.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Lee, I know that, there's been some question marks about, chants and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think the fans have been incredible. You meet them on the street every day. You could be in the pub having a drink. Fans come up to you, Kevin, Dan, pre-game, after games, whenever it is. And I think Kev has a good point in the sense that winning breeds a connection with the team, but the likability factor as well is what's helping this. And even those who don't like Arteta or haven't liked Arteta, it's really tough to kind of criticize them right now, is it not?
Yeah, listen, this is how I see it. Kevin's era, that sort of the team and that. If I see players on the opposite side of the M25, I would have dodged all the traffic, 100 mile an hour to get across and just shake their hands. You know what I mean? And that's true. I would have done that, because that's what they meant to me. Any of the Arsenal players over the last 5 yards walk through outside my back garden, I'd draw the curtains. That's how I felt about it. That's what it was. But now, if Aaron Ramsdale would walk past my house, I would jump out and do that. There's been that sort of connection. The fans have been fantastic this season, absolutely brilliant. The one time that they weren't really up for it was the Crystal Palace game. And we produced a poor performance. So I agree with that. I think the fans have got a massive part to prove. And we have to do our job every game. The fans on Saturday, by the way, I was in the studio, so we ain't allowed to have the sound on. But when I got home, I watched, because we won, I thought, I'll have another watch of that, so I watched it all the way through. The atmosphere in that ground, it was electric. Now, if you've ever been to Leicester, and any people have been to Leicester are very, very loud themselves with their bleating wink things up smashing around, and they are very, very boisterous, and they get behind their team at every opportunity. We outsung them, outdone them, everything, and that was fantastic. The biggest point I can say as well is that when I've gone to home games, cup games in particular, they have the whole behind the goal. Wimbledon, I've had it all. Leeds have got fantastic support, by the way, all behind the goal. When last season, the season before, before COVID, if I used to dread games like that because the fans would go, you just hear them all the time, and we'd be very, very quiet. We played Leeds the other week. It was a lot of families there, which was great to see. Do you know what? We outsung Leeds United from the Emirates that day. I didn't hear Leeds United that day, and that's not having a go at Leeds. That is saying that our fans were fantastic. There is a definite different side of it at the Emirates. Whoever's coming there, which is great, you've got their families turning around to their kids and saying, you start singing and you've got to do this and do that. The atmosphere in the Emirates is something that I've not experienced for a very, very long time. You get it on odd occasions. It's been every single game. So when things are a little bit low, let's hope the fans continue to keep getting behind them, because it's so much. Even up in the posh seats, they're getting up and singing and all that,
I've heard you were up there, Lee.
Well, I don't know about that, putting my old champagne glass down and giving it a go, I love it. And that is what you want from the fans, we've been to away games. Listen, when you go to away games, I don't care what anybody says, it's the norm. It is the way Arsenal fans are. They're great away from home. There is a special thing going away from home.
Always have been, by the way.
There always has been. There always has been. You know what I mean? I can go back years. It's been my first away game. I can't remember when it was. Got to go again. It was special. You know what I mean? That is what the away fans are like. Then that's grown up on that. So that is a given. It's not so much a given at the Emirates, but this season it is, and long may it continue. Long may it continue.
No, I agree. Brilliant stuff, and it makes such a difference to see us kind of happy and cheering and stuff like that. And there's a few of you talking in the comments, and I wanted to give Lee and Dan the opportunity to come back at this. But Kev, for anyone who missed the show at the weekend, sometimes we have banter where we talk about, and we got another 10 or 15 minutes here and we're out. Lee needs to get his nap in.
I had a little sleep on the couch a little while ago. You're all right.
He needs to redo his pipe.
I mean,
That's why he was late. That's why he was late.
He
He was
missed this
sleeping.
bit. He missed this bit. You see that?
Oh, look at that.
Gianni!
Kevin, I know we banter about players versus manager. We were WhatsApping during the Everton game, and I'm like, "What has happened to Everton?" And you said like why the players playing like this. They come out in the second half and they showed more guile and they showed more guts. And Dan and Lee and I think have been very critical of Arteta, but I think also honest in our assessment in what we see in front of us. I think the finger pointing and saying, you said this, I said that, you believe this, I believe that. Why can't we just be honest with what we see at the time, Kev, and enjoy the moment without someone saying you're a flip-flopper or you said this and you said that? As a pro, can you talk me through that a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Before I get to the boys.
Because you're not on the inside. When you're not on the inside, you don't know what it takes when you're on the inside. Because when you're at foot, it's a professional game. Everybody, the opposition come not to let you play and then expect you to let them play. They come to stop you playing, to make life as difficult for you as possible and try and beat you. So you remember, you're at Arsenal. You're going to get the best of everybody. All right? So having an opinion, and yeah, the team haven't been great. We've seen that. The team haven't been great. So whether you think it's the manager, it's your opinion. Every opinion is valid. I can only say what I think and what I see from my experience of being there. I'm a fan, but unfortunately or fortunately, I've been on the inside. I know what it takes as a player. And all of a sudden you see a younger team starting to get the results that maybe a more experienced team should have been getting. And that's our conundrum.
Right. I want to get Dan's take and Lee's on it too, because I get it all the time, and I can only, when you do a show, you can only say what you see and what's in front of you. And the truth is, in the Premier League, until a few games ago, Mikel Arteta's been really poor. The team's been poor. We've finished 8th twice. We've failed to qualify for Europe. He broke all the right records for the wrong reasons over and over and over again. And maybe circles back to my initial questions about impatience versus, overreacting and stuff like that. But Dan, why don't you talk to me? Because I know you get it in the neck all the time on this subject.
Yeah, no, I do. I do get it in the neck, but it's because I say how I feel. I could be fake and say this guy's unbelievable. He's an absolute genius. I don't know why people are slating him. 8th place is amazing. 2 years in a row. The FA Cup means he's the best manager we've ever had. I could say that if you want me to. If fans want to hear that, that's fine. The problem I've got is that I will be fake if I said that because I don't believe it. So I give my opinions. That's why I come on here and I'll take stick for it because that's the way that that's what we do. We do this and we receive stick. When that stick gets personal, I think it's out of order, but I'll still take it because that's the way it goes. And just because Dave in the chat thinks I'm toxic doesn't mean I'm not going to sleep at night. Let me tell you that. So when I look at the situation of Mikel Arteta's reign at Arsenal, I can only say what I believe is right or wrong. And when he gets it right, I will say congratulations to the team. Unbelievable victory. Mikel Arteta got it right. But unfortunately, in the last 20 months, I believe Mikel Arteta has got it wrong quite a lot of the time because I believe he's learning on the job. And I've always pointed the fingers at the owners and the board because I feel that they could see he was getting it wrong. You don't have to be a genius to work out that when you play Xhaka at left back and a false 9 against Villarreal and get dumped out, you're probably not in the right job. Yeah, and a lot of people were calling him out and he should have got sacked that night in my opinion and I stand by it. But when he starts to turn it round and I start to look at the team and think, wow, okay, I'm seeing something, I'll say it. But I haven't seen that enough in terms of consistency over the last 20 months. But Soph, everyone's allowed an opinion and I get that, but you are allowed to change your opinion. Yeah. So in 20 games time, if we're top of the league and we haven't lost and we've gone on 20 wins, I'm not one of these, I've got an agenda, get the hell out of my club still. I'm going to say, do you know what? This manager is doing something right. let's keep with this, because at the end of the day, we are winning football games and he's doing something right. When he's doing something wrong, I ain't going to start getting behind the team saying that I don't care what anyone says. Please do not doubt this football manager because he's my manager and I will stand by him, whatever. No, I won't. I demand the best at this football club because that's what I was brought up on. And I feel that we should be a lot further up the table than we have been this season. Now, people might disagree with that, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, and this isn't about being right or wrong. This is about having an opinion of it. If you think Mikel Arteta is the best manager that Arsenal ever had, I ain't going to sit there and say that you're wrong. I'm going to say that I disagree with you, though, and I'm going to back up why I disagree with you. I don't mind people saying they love Mikel Arteta. Tell me why. Please tell me why. Tell me why you don't want him. Tell me why you hate Kroenke. Tell me why you didn't like Arsene Wenger. Don't just say I don't like him. Tell me why. Back it up. And if you can back it up and give good opinions for it, then I'll debate with you and we can have a sensible chat. But there's too much of this, you're toxic or you're negative or you want Arsenal to lose so that Arteta can leave and get sacked. Nonsense. Anybody who knows me well enough knows I'm a massive gooner. I go home and away to as many games as I can and that I want Arsenal to take 3 points and win trophies. That is what I want. And that's why I get annoyed when we lose. Otherwise, I'd be happy if we lost. Yes, we've lost. Get rid of the manager. I've never said that. Yeah? So that's why I don't understand where some of the fans go. And I'll happily take stick and... That's me, you know. I've come on here and other podcasts and stuff like that because I believe that this opinion that I have is just as valid as the other opinions.
Yep,
exactly, as the other opinions that people give. That's the way I see football. That's what football is to me. Opinions.
I agree with you. And I just put up a comment. I wish I could find it again, where someone said, I think it was Martin, sorry, but people that have supported Arteta have been mocked and ridiculed for over a year. I think people who haven't supported him or criticised him have been mocked and criticised over the year. And this is where the rubber meets the road, Lee. I think right now we're happy our team is in a place that we believed it could be with a turn in players, but also the getting results and seeing him have a team that he's chosen, that Edu's chosen, that they've put together. But this is why I circle back and I'm bringing the arc to the show. My initial question, can't get too excited. It's still only November. The proof will be in the pudding come the end of the season. What's your take on the opinions, etc., etc.?
Of course, you know, and this is the thing. I'll get called a flip-flop, right? And I'll take it as a compliment because you know what? I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I go on game by game. So when Arsenal play well, I'll comment about it. I'm in a fortunate position. I look at it as a fortunate people that people want to hear my opinions. So I feel fortunate that they do. But ultimately, I'm still a fan, and I just want Arsenal to win. And you know, if Arsenal play well, I'll probably go overboard when we win. You know what I mean? Like, and if we lose, I'll probably go the other way round because you know what? I'm a fan. Nothing more, nothing less. You know what I mean? And that's how I say it. So when people call me a flip-flop, you know, get me a sponsor. I love it. I'll have a flip-flop every day of the week, like, because that's how you should be. That is how you should be. And the thing is, and me and Dan have had conversations about this, like, you know, because you don't think that Arteta's the man, that doesn't mean to say you cannot be changed or change that opinion. That's what's great about it. And if people are mocking Arteta ins on whatever or Arteta out, come on, you know what I mean? Like, if someone wants, like, Kevin's been a very big fan of Mikel Arteta and has, you know, stated his case and all that. But me and Kevin are not going to fall out over it and start calling each other things and all that. Like, that's an opinion. I've got an opinion. We'll debate it and then we'll disagree with it or whatever. But ultimately, Kevin's goal is exactly the same as my goal. Arsenal to win 3 points, you know what I mean? And when I do think now there's people that go so far into this, they go so far into this that they think, oh, I don't want Arsenal to win now. I don't, you know, Arsenal have won and all that. Like, look, all the Arteta ins are going to be jumping in. Yeah, so great. I don't care about. Mikel Arteta gets my vote of confidence when he's winning games of football. If he's not winning games of football, he ain't going to get it. And that's nothing personal. That's how it is.
It's business.
You know what I mean? It's the business of it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, you know what I mean? And it's the same with players like Kevin. You know, if Kevin scored a goal, I'd, you know what I mean, be going absolutely mad. If he missed one from 5 yards, I'd be doing me nuts.
And that's happened, Lee. And that's happened plenty of times.
Many times, you know what I mean? Like,
But that is the game. You're right.
That is it. That is it. You know what I mean? And that's how it'll be. You know what I mean? You come away going like singing Kevin's name down the road if he's scored the winner in the game.
If he's done well,
an open goal against Spurs the next one.
That Campbell,
Campbell, useless. But that is how it is. That is how it is. And do you know what? I wish we was a little bit more like that. I think social media and everything like that has changed that a little bit, where, you know, it can get a little bit too personal and things, as Dan was saying, like, you know. But listen, ultimately, we're fans. Dan's a fan. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Like, me and Dan agree on lots of things and other things we don't. But at the end of the day, I know Dan, right? And there's no one more happy than him after that result on Saturday. He ain't phoning me up and saying, that means Arteta's going to stay another week or whatever. He ain't give a care about that. It's 3 points into the top 6, happy days. And that's how it should be.
I agree. Look, I love Martin Scorsese. I think he's one of the best directors that ever lived. But I think that animated film he made was shite. And I can't believe that it was nominated for an Oscar. Doesn't mean I don't love Martin Scorsese and his work and his films. It just means that I didn't like that particular film. And I think this is why I wanted to have the conversation with you, and thank you, Anita, because these are important things to think about. Please don't mistake, like, people who are just abusive with criticism. And Kev can articulate this a little bit better than me, because Kev he's a player who's played the game, but he's also an Arsenal fan. So even if Antonio Conte was manager, because he's played for the club, he's worn the badge, he knows, he's been behind the scenes of what it takes, he would support Antonio Conte too. He would support Graham Potter. Kev, am I right?
100%. 100%. Right. When Freddie took over, I supported Freddie. 100%. Because, listen, being Arsenal manager is hard. It's hard. Winning football matches is hard, especially when you haven't got a team that's together. Now you see a team that's together, now you see things start to move forward a bit.
And the manager and the players all deserve credit for that. And let's not forget Edu in this. People laughed at him. Gary Neville ridiculed him. We've been absolutely murdered.
Ridiculed him.
Paul Merson wanted to take over as director of football. We've been murdered on radio, video, and all sorts. But it's kind of like family, right? You know, when family get together for dinner and someone says, hey, have you know, so-and-so, blah, blah. And then you're like, hey, you know what? They're family. Do you know, even though you know they might be a wrong 'un, they're family, and somehow you find a way to defend them. And I find that's been Arsenal of late as well. So,
also, Soph, can I just say, it is about players as well. Kevin's banged on about this for a long while, and look at Everton at this moment in time. Look, you know, we're going to play Everton in 5 or 6 weeks. They're going to have all their strikers back and things like that. They're going to be a different proposition to what they are now. And I think that is, you've got to give that little thing to Mikel. Is he's got his own players in there, and love and behold, it's turned. You know what I mean? Like, if Mikel hasn't got the right tools, it ain't going to happen. I think that's been said many and many a times. You know what I mean? And like, you know, when you look at Spurs with Nuno, you know what I mean? It was never ever going to work with him, like, because they just weren't going to be there. You know, so
working after 3 games, Lee. Let's have it right. It was working after 3 games. I was being told, look how quickly Nuno's got Spurs in a system. Yeah. Don't forget.
I said that out loud on this show. Yeah.
Look how Nuno's got them in a system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But Kevin, you also know, and when you go back to players, and this is what I'll say, is that, you know, if Gabriel's out for 1 or 2 games, Mari comes in and can do a job.
You can pay for the cracks a little. Yeah. Yeah.
Over a long period, that's when you're going to start missing players. And I just think that, you know, I said this earlier on. I wish Arsenal were a little bit more ruthless, like Tottenham, with their certain things and all that. But then on the other end, I look at it and I go, I quite like that we're not like that. You know what I mean? So it's trying to get that balance, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? I love the fact that we back our managers and we do. You know, we've only done it probably, you know, with Rioch really in my time that we've never, and probably Emery as well. Because if you look back on it, when we got Rioch, we really wanted Wenger, but we couldn't get Wenger at that time.
At the time, yeah.
And I think really when we got Emery, they really wanted Arteta, didn't they? You know what I mean? So other than that, we've always backed our managers, you know. So I quite like that fact, you know, that we haven't really done that, you know, like what Tottenham have done.
I think
25 managers they've had in 30 years. Can you believe that?
We've even in our darkest days we've won 4 FA Cups. Right, we've got to wrap this up. We're an hour. You boys need to go to bed. And Kev's probably going to watch some NBA. I don't know what the others are going to do. I have to put this up by popular demand. I have a couple of housekeeping rules before I want to get the boys to predict Watford. Newman is insisting I show this amazing art. And
brilliant. I'm quite happy with that. I've got to say, look at the body I've got there. Look at that.
I'll tell you what. But Lee, it's the serious face on it. I love it.
I don't care. All I'm looking at is those abs and those thighs. I don't care about anything else.
Oh my god, it's absolute gold. I had to show it because we haven't been on together. Dan has been on, and we've enjoyed that a lot. And then one more housekeeping thing. Oh my god, talk about a double from Football Prizes. Are you kids ready for this? It's a mega double. It's Tony Adams signed, custom framed Arsenal shirt, plus a Patrick Vieira signed and framed shirt.
Wow,
plus
double
a 2021 home shirt. Holy shit!
They're the greatest
Kevin.
captains.
Two of our greatest captains.
You know my money's on Soph to win it.
Jags
is going to win the lot, mate. I tell you, he wins everything. That boy. Hey, Sophie, let me just say this while Dan and Lee's on.
Yeah.
Lee mentioned it. I know Dan feels it. I know you felt it, and I'm sure the squaddies felt it. How proud did you feel at the end of that game when all the boys were over with the Arsenal fans? Celebrating, they're taking their tops off, they're putting it in the crowd, and you could just hear the noise from the Arsenal fans. That is the connection we need. Yeah. I think that's what we've missed. That is what we've missed. We've missed that connection.
Do you know what? To enjoy the players now, Kev. You know, I'm starting to actually like the players. There's only a couple I could pick a few seasons ago. Yeah. I like Tierney, I like Smith Rowe, I like Saka, Gabriel coming up to the crowd throwing his shirt in. I love Gabriel. I think he's been our best player this season.
Immense.
Ramsdale's connection with he has been immense. Ramsdale connection. You know, you've got those players there that all of a sudden you can actually start to connect with, and that's massively important. And I've always said, and I've never been a fan on the pitch, but off the pitch, what Arteta and Edu have done in terms of recruitment, I've always liked it. I need to see him start playing football, and now finally we're starting to see that. So long may it continue, man.
Nice one.
I just want to finally put on that. I think it's been fantastic, and I'm going to go Liverpool in a couple of weeks. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to win that game, but I've got optimism that we can. And if things don't go our way on that game, I just hope that they show that same sort of appreciation when we don't win, because you know I think that's very, very important as well. Like, it's all great when you're doing it when you win.
They did at City, didn't they?
100% they did. It's for me. It's always a privilege following the Arsenal and supporting Arsenal, like, you know. And I don't think that they necessarily have to do that, but when they do it, it just makes you feel a lot better. As a fan, you know, I think that it's nice that that those players appreciate the support.
Yeah,
I always felt, going back in the years, they did. I didn't for a little while. I felt we lost that connection, like, you know what I mean. When I didn't think they give a damn whether we was there or not. Maybe because the fans have not been in, and now that they're back and they're playing in front of fans again, maybe the fans have actually, the players now appreciate us a little bit more, and great to beat. But like, it's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing, and I love it when they put the shirts in there. Like, would I want one? Not really. I'm not that bothered. Like, you know what I mean? If I'll be honest, I think, like, you know, if I got one, I'll take it. But if not, I'm not that. But I love to see that. I love to see them. You know, I even West Ham yesterday. I don't know if you see it. Like, I think it was Fabianski had to ask an official, was it all right to go, and they went yes, and he went and took the. I like that. You know, it's good to see that players are engaging with fans, and I think that's fantastic.
I think we've had so many unlikable players that have been lukewarm and shown so much apathy that it's been really difficult to connect with them. And finally, I feel like a little bit like United bringing Ole in, there was a reason for that. The PR legend, you know, being able to bring the love back. Lampard, Chelsea, banned from Europe from transfers, a legend, brought the love back after a difficult period. And I'm not saying Arteta is anywhere near close to being an Arsenal legend the way Ole is at United and Lampard are at Chelsea. But bringing him in and him knowing the club, I think that's helped a little bit. And Edu, who is, of course, you know, dare we say a legend at the club because of what he did.
He is.
There's something like cooking, you know, and people like to see that. You know, but right now the meal's a little undercooked and we got to wait for it to bake. And then at the end of the season, we could all be looking at, you know, having a nice roast and some pie afterwards. Super Kev and
the right
Campbell.
analogy is you can smell it. It smells lovely, but you can't see it right now.
Like that gravy commercial.
It's coming, yeah. Remember the Bisto? The Bisto
I used to love that.
to take you and take the kids and all that. So we can smell it and it smells good. Oh, you know, and you get them feelings inside you, but we're only really going to know down the end, aren't we? We're going to know at the end. So
totally.
It's
very well put,
listen,
Kev.
we're on the roller coaster, guys.
Well, let's just hope it ain't the gravy that Uncle Albert served up in Only Fools and Horses.
Knackered the gravy bug.
Oh, dear. You will eat that.
Gold.
You can put it all over.
Absolute gold. Listen to Tammy and hit the likes on the way out. Very quickly, 20 seconds. Dan, do we beat Watford?
2-0 Arsenal, yeah.
Lee?
3-0 Gunners.
All right, lovely. We'll get Kev's predictions a little bit later on this week. We will return tomorrow night. Finally, he's been on how many holidays? He's had computer problems. But finally, David Hillier is ready to make a return, boys and girls, to the Tuesday-ish club.
Can't hold your breath.
He was having a go at me, phoned me yesterday and says, all right, Soph, it wasn't your fault about that technical thing. Turns out, blah, blah, blah. There you go, Kev. How about that?
You already knew that. He's kidding himself. That's Dave Hillier for you. Listen, it'll be good to get him back on. Hey, listen, Dan, Lee, thanks for coming on, guys.
Been a pleasure.
Brilliant
Love it.
show.
Anytime.
Absolute brilliant
Love it.
show. Getting your thoughts on things, always nice. And I'll definitely see you on Thursday, I'm sure. Sophie, obviously, hostess with the mostest. Fantastic host for the show. And you squaddies, always brilliant, always turn up. And we thank you. So, squaddies, I'll see you tomorrow and have a good night. Take care, squaddies. At ease, guys.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.